famous Memphis landmark is also one of the country's most important, the National Civil Rights Museum. Housed on the site of the former Lorraine Motel, the National Civil Rights Museum chronicles episodes of the American Civil Rights Movement that are key to understanding Memphis, its music, and its culture. Saved from demolition, the Lorraine Motel was remodeled and today serves as the nation's memorial to the Civil Rights Movement. In evocative displays, the museum chronicles the struggle of African Americans from the time of slavery to the present. Exhibits such as this replica of the Montgomery, Alabama public bus Rosa Parks was riding when she refused to give up her seat offer visitors a unique "you are there" feel to some of the most important moments in American history and the Civil Rights Movement. You'll also go back in time to relive the momentous events surrounding the life and death of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., including his inspirational speeches and his tragic assassination, which took place on this very spot. It's a moving and memorable journey through the turbulent civil rights movement of the 1960s.
An important circumstance and event in history took place on this very site. And we have literally turned a site of great tragedy into an educational triumph. We do educational programming on this site. We have a number of visitors that come from all over the world because truly this institution allows us to share our common humanity. So it's important for everyone to come and understand what happened from 1619 up to the present day. The interesting thing that occurred to us across the street was when visitors came, especially people from other countries, they asked us three critical questions. What happened to the dream? Did the dream die when Dr. King died? And how has the world been influenced and Memphis impacted by the death of Dr. King? So we use that as our anchor, those questions as our anchor, to really become engaged in a major expansion project. And that expansion allowed us to really talk about why did people struggle, why they fight, why they bleed, why they die, why was this important? What has been accomplished in this country, and how has the American Civil Rights Movement given voice to worldwide human rights struggles around the world? So we tell those specific stories as well as establish a historical context for young people who were not living.
For more information on the National Civil Rights Museum, visit their website at civilrightsmuseum.org or call 901-521-9699. Part of your tour at the National Civil Rights Museum is here at the Lorraine Motel. And while this site is infamous for the tragic death of Martin Luther King, it also housed some of the most famous and talented musicians this country has ever known. Songwriters and musicians such as Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, and Otis Redding were among the frequent residents of the Lorraine during the 50s and 60s. In fact, let's check out a few stops on a magical music tour of Memphis with a look at where they cranked out some of their biggest hits, Stax Records. Visitors to the Stax Museum of American Soul Music soon learned that what began at an old movie theater in the heart of Soulsville, USA in the late 50s changed the worldwide music scene forever. From gospel roots to gold records, every aspect of soul music is covered here at Stax. Featuring more than 2,000 exhibits, Stax will spin you around the world of soul music and deliver you to the spot of such musical memories as Tina Turner's Gold Dress, the organ used to record the classic Green Onions, and of course Isaac Hayes' Peacock Blue Cadillac Eldorado.
At the time that we were creating the Memphis sound, the Stax sound, we had no idea. And we really didn't worry about whether or not people would still be enjoying it 50 years later, because we were so high on enjoying it ourselves as we were making it. And we were thrilled with the opportunity to be doing it. There is something distinctly different. You know, when you listen to Stax music, you have to fasten your seatbelts. There's no other way to deal with it. And the songs sound as good today as they did when we were in the recording studio with Otis Redding, and he was recording These Arms of Mine, or Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, or the Barcades were performing Soul Finger. So we cannot duplicate it, but we certainly can emulate it.
To find out more about the Stax Museum of American Soul Music, check out their website at soulsvilleusa.com or head over to memphistravel.com. You simply can't take a Memphis music tour without stopping by the aptly named Sun Studio. Talk about scorching! It was here at Sun that Jerry Lee Lewis recorded the hit, Great Balls of Fire. Legendary producer Sam Phillips also helped launch the careers of B.B. King, Roy Orbison, Johnny Cash, and the king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Presley. Today, people from around the world walk through these doors and are whisked away on a musical journey where time stands still. Once you enter the recording studio, it's like you are right back in the 50s, from the instruments to the recording session outtakes. You'll even get up close and personal with Elvis's first microphone. Oh, if these walls could talk. Well, wait a minute. They don't have to. These musically inclined tour guides will walk you through the scintillating Sun story. And be sure to stick around and slurp up some soda pop at this vintage 50s soda shop, where you can also check out the fine print on Sun's contract with Elvis. And talk about time travel, believe it or not, Sun Studio is still in use today, as contemporary artists like Bonnie Raitt and U2 clamor for that sweet Sun sound. The tour takes approximately 30 minutes, but the memories will last a lifetime. For more information about Sun Studio tours, free shuttle service, or hours of operation, please visit their website at sunstudio.com or visit the Memphis Travel website at memphistravel.com. From rock and roll to rock and soul, this museum has it all. Well, what else would you expect from a museum that was developed by the folks that run the Smithsonian Institution? We're here in the Memphis Rock and Soul Museum. Since the doors opened in 2000, visitors have marveled at the tales of the pioneers of rock and soul music.
Rockin' Soul has the prestige of being the only museum here in Memphis that really tells that whole story, because it did start way before Stax, way before Sun, but it started in the rural fields and the agricultural areas surrounding Memphis, and really how all the ingredients were right here in Memphis. The field hollers that were taking place, the porch music, the gospel music coming out of our churches, obviously the influence of jazz in the clubs on Beale Street, the blues on the curbs of Beale Street. And really, as people began migrating into the city, how it did evolve into origins of WDIA radio, origins of Sun Records, of Stax Records, and into the 60s and into the 70s. When this museum first came about in 2000 and leading up to 2000, they had this great research story by the Smithsonian, and then truly had to go scour throughout the Southeast to find the memorabilia to go with it. A lot of it was found in people's attic and musician storerooms and stuff like that. Great, great artifacts that were housed, and as we, as music museums, began being treated as true museums. I mean, you know, a lot of times they consider these more like hobby shops rather than true, authentic museums. But when you begin to get great pieces that now we have to revere as true artifacts, true memorabilia that has to be showcased properly, has to be climate controlled and the lighting done properly on it, because great things such as B.B. King's guitar, the first guitar that Elvis Presley owned when he was in the armed forces, even older things that belong to the Carter family and stuff like that. These are now treasures the way the Smithsonian views treasures within their museum.
If you want to feel the beat, move your feet right on over to the Memphis Rock and Soul Museum. For more information, visit their website at memphisrock